Okay, this is how I do container gardening. I have these old 5-gallon, about 5-gallon garbage cans. A couple of them here. And I did this years ago. I started this, but inside each one I tried to have a layer or so, about an inch or so of pea gravel, and then a topsoil mix, and that's what I planted. This year I'm taking some of it out, mixing it up with some other peat moss and mushroom compost, and putting it back in, seeing I don't want to spend the money to buy more topsoil for it. This should be pretty good. I only ever use, roots only ever go down halfway, so I figure if I mix it around, should be some nutrients in there yet, and should be good. Toss some fertilizer and stuff in it, should be alright. So at the end of the year I clean the plant out, pull the old plant out, the dead plant, tomato plant, whatever it is, throw that away, and then I just put the lid back on it for the winter. Since I started these, one of the first things I planted was tarragon plant, and I rarely ever used it. It's still growing inside of that one right there. So I don't know, this year I may just can it, so to speak, and just rip it out and throw it away, because I never used tarragon for anything. But it's lived every year just by putting the lid back on it, maybe tucking some of the dead plant back around it for a little bit of insulation from the cold winters, and it's been growing every year since. Other than that, the way I do for tomatoes, you can see I have one in there, tomato cage. I turn it upside down, and I cut off rings until I find the right diameter to fit. So by cutting the rings off, it also gives me some points to stick into the ground to hold it in, a good distance of them, about half a foot or so, probably almost 8 inches of a point, and they fit exactly, the ring to the bottom, fits perfect like it was made for it. And then I just bend together the tips so I don't stab myself with them. And that's a little self-contained plant cage, tomato cage, I guess. There, and that's what I'm doing.
Down the road I look, and there runs Mary,
tomato plant. This is a super sweet 100 tomato. It's a cherry type, small tomato. Little spider. Pop it out of the container. A little bit of a hole for it. Stick her in. There, since it's floppy like that, I'm going to stick a bamboo post in it just to get it going up. There. I'll tie something around it in a minute. Just make sure all the prongs, all the ends are in. Push it down. Just like that. There, that's it. That's all you need. Let's see that. Tomato. And a cage. That's it. And just water it up. These are peppers. They're fairly small plants, so I'm going to put 2 of them in. Get attacked by birds. Put 2 of these in. These are Czech black peppers. They're awesome. One of my favorite kinds of peppers. They're about the size of a jalapeno, and about the same heat, but a better taste to them, better flavor, in my opinion.
Yes, they'll all come to meet me in the shade of the oak tree as they lay me beneath the green grass of home.
Okay, this one, I'm going to toss in some seed potatoes. I had a few left over from the ones that I did plant, so I'll toss these, 1 or 2 of these in. I'll toss 2 of these in, little ones. Find somewhere else to toss the other 2.
As they lay me